Welcome to the North American Hunting Odyssey, where members experience and share the Odyssey we call the hunt. This program has been created specifically for members of the North American Hunting Club.
Hi, I'm Bill Miller, editor of North American Hunter magazine, and your host for this edition of the North American Hunting Odyssey. The North American Hunting Odyssey video series was created especially for NAHC members just like you, and features the thrills, challenges, and excitement of the hunt. It also features tips from expert hunters that'll help you improve your success next time you're in the field. But best of all, it shares the hunting adventures of your fellow NAHC members. In fact, if you've got a hunting adventure on videotape, send it on in, because we want to take a look at it. In this edition, we introduce a longtime favorite feature of North American Hunter magazine to videotape. You call the shots. NAHC television producer Forrest Fox shares some advice on making better home hunting and fishing videos. Then we join North American Hunting Club member Ron Jolly for a turkey hunt he may wish had never been caught on videotape. Then member Alan Jenkins, one of the country's best-known turkey callers, takes us down south for some Texas-sized toms. We'll go bow hunting for whitetails with David Hale. Then we'll load up the dogs and make a late-season trip to my favorite hunting preserve for some tips on training. North American Hunter magazine's senior editor, Greg Gitcho, has been experimenting with techniques for decoying whitetails, and we'll see what he's come up with. And finally, it's my favorite part of the video, member shots. Hunting adventures captured on videotape by members just like you, including one member's adventure in Alaska that proved to be more excitement than you might ever imagine. But let's start things off with a trip to Mississippi for a world-class waterfowl hunt with world-class callers from the Primos Pro staff. Each hunter carries with him an idea of a dream hunt. For the bow hunter, it might be calling a bull elk into range. For the whitetail hunter, it could be a buck suddenly emerging from the brush. Well, for me, as a duck hunter, the ultimate setting is an enthusiastic dog, some good friends, and a stand of flooded southern timber. That's exactly what greeted us when we arrived at the Halpino Lake Camp on the Terra Wildlife Management lands in western Mississippi. The camp is managed by veteran hunter and guide Jeff Terry and his grizzled chocolate lab Buster Brown. Our hosts for this trip were the fine folks on the Primos Game Calls Pro staff. You can't hope to huddle against the trunk of a flooded oak with a better bunch of callers or hunters than these guys. Just watch and you'll see what I mean.
Here come three of them, Dave. Behind the tree, Yeah. They're coming down a little lower. All right, take them.
All right.
Hey!
All right, guys. Good shooting. Here.
Good boy.
Good dog. Jeff, I don't know who hit that duck. I think Bill hit that duck.
I believe he did.
Hard to say.
Bill? Come on. Okay, good dog. Drop.
Good boy.
Drop. All right. Hey, Bill, is this your first mallard hunt in Mississippi?
My first mallard hunt in Mississippi.
But now, not your first mallard, though.
No.
Jeff, I tell you what, here at Terra, y'all really put on a good show for us this year. Got a fabulous hunting.
It's we've had a pretty good hunting up to this point here with this cold front. It's helping us out a little.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it's really cool today with the wind blowing.
Ooh, man.
Cool for you Mississippians.
Well, that's right. That is right. Jeff, there's a group of ducks right out there.
They're coming around the
Yeah, I got them over here. They're making a wide swing over these woods, Bill. All right, here they come. They're cutting back.
They come around this time, Mr. Bill, and they're low enough. Take them.
Yeah, that's got them locked in now. You see him, Jeff?
Yep. Take him. Good deal.
Shot.
Mr. Mark. Good boy, come on.
I think Buster's cold, Jeff.
Yeah. Cold and old. That's okay. Good boy.
Well, despite a couple of cold and overcast days when you'd have sworn everything would be just right but wasn't, our luck changed when the weather turned clear. Despite the regular shooting, those mallards, widgeon, and gadwalls just wouldn't stay out of the decoys. I think this is really what they meant when they came up with the phrase, "Every dog has his day."
Bill, that's a little bit larger gun than this morning. Is that your WW?
WW,
Yeah, the Widowmaker.
Waterfall Widowmaker. Okay. Well, that she is a Waterfall Widowmaker. I'll tell you, I've grown to love this 10 gauge. In fact, I've done virtually all my waterfall hunting this fall with it. It's been a good gun.
Take him.
Well, Jeff, I noticed as we're getting set up here this afternoon, we're using quite a few more decoys. How do you decide what kind of spread to use down here?
Well, when we pulled up to the lake here, we're at Dry Lake now. They were rafted up out here in the middle, and what we'll be doing, all the ducks went down to the other end that we saw, and they'll be coming back a little at a time looking for a big group, and we're just going to give them a big group, and they'll come join, raft up with us.
What's the logic behind the pattern we're setting out?
They're putting them up in like a C pattern with the wind blowing like this. This is the last group of trees that we have before the open water. We're trying to get the birds to swing in. They always land in the wind, and hopefully come right past us right here. We'll get some good shooting in.
Back over your shoulder. Watch it. No, he ain't buying it.
He will.
He will eventually.
We're hunting the same country, we're hunting the same ducks, but a little bit different situation. Do you change your calling somewhat for more open areas like this?
We try to, Bill, late in the season. Ducks, you know, they kind of tend to get cautious. So what we'll be doing season, calling real soft, using a lot of confidence calls, Drake calls, widgeon calls. We got a lot of widgeons in this area. So it's just good confidence. Ease them in here. Try not to, you know, really put the pressure on them.
Okay. Well, David, in doing the show, we get to hunt with a lot of people that are great callers. But can somebody come out here and be successful when they're getting started?
I think they can, Bill. Like I said, your place you set up is 90% of it. Do a lot of scouting, study where your ducks are, and just, like I said, this is late, 4th of January, late in the season. Call soft to them. Don't try to blow them out of the hole, you know. And it's not hard to call soft. You just take very little wind. You know, stuff like it.
Take them.
Well, they talk about the good old days, and I'll tell you, this doesn't get any better. I want to thank all of you, Jeff, David, and Ronnie for setting up the trip. We had a great time. And I'll tell you, to this bunch of cool dogs here, they sure did a great job on the trip.
The North American Hunting Club presents You. Call the shot.
It's late afternoon on the last day of your trip. You're hunting whitetail deer with a rifle. You've seen a lot of deer moving around, but nothing you'd call a trophy. An average-sized buck comes within 100 yards of your blind, following one of several does that have moved into the area feeding. He pauses for a brief moment, and you have a clear shot. If you pass it up, you may head for home empty-handed. You call the shot.
Last day of the trip, I've got a good shot. I want to take some venison home with me. I'm going to take this shot.
Well, I would probably have a lot of confidence in the shot, but I think I have enough meat in the freezer for now. So I think I'd probably hunker down and wait to see what else might come into range.
It's the last day of the season. I've traveled a long ways, and the ranch here has asked that we help thin the herd down. So for deer management, even though it may not be something I'm going to mount, it's still a deer and it's going to be good eating. So take it.
Even late in a hunt, a situation like this calls for patience. With a good number of deer in the area, there's more than an excellent chance you'll get more than one shot at a buck like this one. As he turns to follow the doe back out of the group, watch what walks out of the brush about 200 yards away. Within minutes, you've got a shot at a great trophy whitetail. When the deer are moving in, wait for the perfect shot. If they're moving away, take the shot or hunt another day. You're hunting turkey with a shotgun. Your partner has called one to within 40 yards, but the bird is hesitant to cross the brush line between you and it. You've got a fairly clear view, but is he in range? You call the shot.
I'm going to pass him this shot, see if he comes in closer. There's some brush in the way.
I think as long as I knew at 40 yards and I'd practiced and I knew that I'd be able to take the shot, I'd take it and hope that it would be a clean kill.
I'm going to wait on the turkey. He passed by just at what I would consider the borderline on my range. There's always tomorrow.
If you're using an extra full turkey choke and have confidence in your marksmanship and load, you can take the shot. But a better plan might be to change your setup so that birds moving along the same path will have an easy walk well within range. A nervous bird will rarely cross thick cover into a decoy, even if your calling is perfect. You're hunting elk with a compound bow. It's been a slow day and you're thinking of calling it quits. Suddenly, a big bull follows a cow up the trail you're standing on, stopping in the perfect position. There's no wind, and he's well within range. You call the shot.
I've waited for this moment. I'm going to aim low and take the shot.
Well, I think I'd definitely take the shot. I guess the only thing to do would be to take a deep breath and release.
This is a good day, and this is going to be a great shot. The elk is where I want it, and it's at the position I want, so I've been shooting stuff up to 50 yards. I'm not hesitating on this at all. Let's take it. Good eating. Get the frying pan out.
It doesn't get much better than this. The only trick now is staying calm enough to make the shot count. Well, better luck next time. Every year, the North American Hunting Club receives hundreds of videos from members across the United States and Canada. We see some truly great hunting adventures and we enjoy looking at all of them. But quite frankly, some of them could use a little improvement. So here with some tips on how to shoot better home outdoor videos is NAHC television producer Forrest Fox.
These days, more and more sportsmen are taking camcorders with them when they take to the field. But there's more to producing good outdoor videos than just putting a camera on your shoulder and walking into the woods. First, start with good equipment. Think of your video camera and the rest of your video gear as a long-term investment. The good stuff is going to last longer and be more durable than any of the really cheap stuff you can buy. If you're buying video equipment on a budget, give up the fancy effects, bells and whistles, and things like that before you give up good old-fashioned durability and picture quality. Clean your camera or have it cleaned by a professional on a regular basis. The #1 cause of problems with video gear is dirt. Also, when you take to the field, bring some extra batteries. Now, the batteries that we use in the field with our little Hi8 camcorder are twice as big and last more than twice as long as the original battery that came with the camera. It's also a good idea to be prepared for bad weather. A heavy-duty plastic garbage bag can make a great rain slick for a camcorder. If your camera does get wet, turn it off and follow your manufacturer's instructions for service or repair. Camouflage is just as important for your camcorder as it is for any other piece of your hunting equipment. Now, face netting works great in dry weather, and it can also help keep your camera clean. Now, perhaps the most important thing to remember when you go out to make a home movie, or even a Hollywood movie for that matter, is that you're trying to tell a story. Now, every story, generally speaking, has 4 major parts: the introduction, the body, the climax, and the conclusion. And to tell a really great one, you've got to be sure you have all 4. The introduction includes the setting, location, time of year, any history leading up to the story.
We're in St. Mary's? Mary's River Basin in the Jarvidge Wilderness area.
The body of a story, or the second part, is where most of the story takes place. The characters struggle to reach their goals. If the setting changes, the audience needs to know about it. This is where a little narration comes in really handy.
We're finally at the bottom of the ravine, just before the big elk herd.
Now, the main purpose of the body, the longest part of a story, is to build anticipation for the climax, the shortest part of the story. In the climax, our characters either reach their goals or they don't. The more they have riding on the outcome of the climax, the more dramatic the story becomes. Everything is downhill after the climax. In the conclusion of a story, we settle any unresolved issues from the first 3 parts of the story and say goodbye to our characters. It's also very common to have a brief synopsis of the story from start to finish.
There was probably 50 elk in here, and we called this guy in, and Mike just went to town and did his business. It was 30 yards. He's a big animal. In fact, Mike, why don't you get in there next to him, and we'll be able to get a little body comparison here. Look
Awesome.
at that. That was just fantastic.
Couldn't have done it without you, Matt.
Yeah.
Introduction, body, climax, and conclusion. To make a really great home video, you've got to have all 4. So, you've got your story, you've got your equipment ready to go. All you need now are some good basic techniques to tell your story. Rule number 1, keep your camera steady and on the action. Don't just hold it out in front of you and look through it. Brace it against your body, against your face, put it on a tripod, or whatever it takes to keep the thing from shaking around too much. Try to keep your shot level with the horizon, and when in doubt, stay wide. A shaky camera zoomed in tight is enough to make some people sick to their stomachs. Staying wide makes it easier to stay on the action too. Here's a good example. The camera operator obviously can't see the fish yet. The shot of the water is pretty boring, so stay wide. It's much more interesting to see the angler fighting the fish. Once the fish breaks water, then you can go to the close-up. Rule number 2, stay in focus. Now, autofocus is great as long as you're not shooting through a lot of clutter. If you're hunting in the woods, use manual focus. Otherwise, your camera's going to be trying to focus on this tree or that other thing. Concentrate on your subject and keep it in focus. If you're hunting birds, use manual focus, or your camera will keep trying to focus on the sky, then the bird, then the sky, and so on. Now, there's one really easy way to check your focus when you're on manual. Zoom in tight on your subject, focus your camera, then zoom back out to the shot you want to use. Now, if you're going to be staying in tight on your subject, you're going to have to keep adjusting your focus as the distance between you and your subject changes. In general, using manual focus will give you better results. All it takes is a little practice. Rule number 3, keep it simple. Don't keep zooming in and out to try and add excitement to your video. Let the action speak for itself. And don't use a lot of fancy camera tricks. They just distract from what's really exciting. If you like to date and time your tapes, do it for a few seconds at the beginning of the tape or when there's a major change in the setting of your story. Don't leave them up all the time. Again, date and time burn-ins just distract from what's really important, the action. Rule number 4, get insurance shots. Insurance shots or cutaways are used in editing to cover up bad camera work or transitions between shots that don't fit the story. They can be anything from a nice scenic shot to a close-up of a hunter putting a pair of binoculars to his face. If you're not planning to edit your video, you don't really have to worry about insurance shots. But if you're planning to send your tape to us for use in one of our videos, you make our job a lot easier by including them. Rule number 5. Practice, practice, practice. Just like any other activity, the more time you can spend behind your camcorder, the better your home videos are going to become. Good equipment, good basic techniques, and a good story to tell. All you need now is a good attitude, and you can't lose. Don't get frustrated if every time you take your camera out, you don't end up with an award-winning production. We can spend days, even weeks in the field shooting and still not come away with anything usable. Just like hunting or fishing, all it takes is one great trip to make all the waiting worthwhile. And if you capture the trip of a lifetime on videotape, you'll have it for years to come to share with your friends, family, and maybe even your fellow NAHC members.
North American Hunting Club member Ron Jolly has been videotaping hunting adventures for years, and he's gotten pretty darn good at it. But no matter how good you are, there's some things you just can't prepare for. Here's Ron on one lazy spring afternoon turkey hunt with his son Keith and David Carden.
Where is it? He just gobbled right there. Let it go. It's mad. Move my camp. What?
That's one hunt young 14-year-old Keith Jolly won't soon forget. Well, at least the party was awake for. Now let's join North American Hunting Club member Alan Jenkins in Texas for some turkey hunting that'll keep even the sleepiest hunter awake.
Man, this is a beautiful morning and a great spot. That's good.
As you settle in to call turkeys, it's important to fix in your mind some landmarks to tell you when the gobbler is truly in range of the shotgun. A rangefinder, commonly used by bow hunters, takes the guesswork out of establishing those distances. In open country like West Texas, Alan likes to begin his calling sequence with loud yelps and cackles from a box-type call.
I'm gonna make a call or two and just see what's going on. Okay.
Any close birds would most likely have been scared off by our approach through the sparse cover. So the louder initial calls are intended to entice a turkey from a long way off. Most turkey hunters wear gloves when calling, but Alan prefers the sensitive touch of his experienced hands on the friction-type calls. With a lifetime of experience to call on, he knows just what he can get away with when a longbeard is coming in. Once a gobbler responds and starts coming to the louder calls, Alan switches to a smaller slate call, which more easily produces the sweet, subtle sounds of an undisturbed hen turkey. It's powerful medicine for Rio Grande gobblers.
Oh, he's coming on a dead roll. Boy, is that a big old predator.
What should I do here?
Wait, is that a Jake? He's an old Jaco. He's got a round fan. We're not gonna shoot this turkey.
Man, it's tough to pass up a mature bird that close. Why don't we see if we can call in a little bigger one with a better tail? I'm really anxious to take a good gobbler with this new scoped shotgun rig.
There he is coming through there. Yeah. He's right through them bushes. He gets behind that bush. He's coming right up through there. Look at him, he's running. When he gets to that bush right there, you better get your gun up. Let him go back when he goes behind that bush.
There he is.
Great shot, Bill.
Oh, good calling too, Alan. I love it when they drop where you take them.
I knew this bird had a spur on him. Look at that.
Oh, great spurs.
And you knew that he was an older bird.
Yeah. And he's
But
been
that tells you
strutting.
he's, you know, look at his big old foot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a very long beard, but he's a sure mature bird.
No, he shot a little of it off.
Yeah. Well, let's see how much he weighs here. Oh, he'll go, I don't know, 19, 20 pounds
19,
maybe?
20. Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah. Well, let's go back and show them to the boys at the bunkhouse. Turkeys are plentiful in Texas, so the state's game laws allow hunters to take 2 on their spring tag. With 1 in the bag, Alan and I decided to try for the double header. Yeah, there sure are a lot of prickly pear out here, aren't there?
Oh, everywhere. Yeah.
I've heard it said that in West Texas everything either sticks, itches, or bites.
Everything out of here sticks.
You know, we've been lucky we haven't seen any rattlesnakes this kind of weather. They might be out.
I'm sure they are. I hope I don't see any rattlesnake.
That sure was a nice bird we got this morning, but this afternoon I'd like to concentrate on a longbeard.
All right. This is a pretty open place here. We can get one to gobble off in the distance here. We'll stay in here a while.
All right. Clear this out of here so if I have to move I won't make too much noise.
All right.
We carefully chose our afternoon calling location to intercept a mature gobbler as he meandered toward the roost late in the day.
I see a bunch of jakes coming in. Looks like about half a dozen birds. We a big longbeard won't be spooked by all those eyes looking at us. Just let them walk off. Well, it's getting late.
You should be headed towards the
Yeah,
roost.
they'll be heading toward the roost. That one a gobble, I'll go back up in there. I feel like he'll come down this way. The wind's getting where he can't hear us.
Just wait him out.
Yeah.
There's one in there. There he is.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Some hens too.
Yeah, but look at that. That's too big.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna go under a little bit of a that sunshine. This is going to be tough to get the gun up. You just got to move real slow. Everything's slow. As soon as he tops out on that little rim there. You got to shoot him between your trees now. Go! You got him? Oh yeah. Bird's gonna weigh 20, 21 pounds.
I'll tell you, Alan, for pure excitement, there ain't much that beats turkey hunting.
Hi, I'm Greg Gitcho, Senior Editor of North American Hunter Magazine. And if you love bow hunting for whitetail deer like I do, you're always looking for a new way to try and bring a good buck in close. Really, there's three main things you have to do in order to achieve that. The first thing is to beat the deer's sense of smell. And we all know one of the most important things is to destroy human scent. That means laundering your clothes in scent-free detergent and using good scent destroyer sprays. Cover scents also work well, as do attractant scents like doe and heat and buck urines. The other thing you have to do is beat the deer's sense of hearing. And to do that, we use grunt calls and rattle boxes. A grunt call can be used either when you see a buck, or even if you haven't been seeing any bucks. I like to grunt about every 15 minutes during the rut, and just a couple of soft grunts can really get that buck to come on in. Rattling antlers or the new rattling boxes also work well to simulate a fight, and lots of times it'll grab a buck's attention and grab his curiosity, and he'll see what's going on. And the third thing is the deer's sense of sight, which is something that most hunters have overlooked, but deer decoys can really do a good job of bringing in a buck. They're a great attractant used in conjunction with grunt calls and rattle boxes and the scents. Really, there's a couple different types of decoys on the market. The full body decoys and the two-dimensional decoy like the Commando. These particular decoys are from Flambeau products. The full body comes in the grazing doe like the one we have here, and there's another one called the ready doe. And the difference between the two is that the grazing doe is obviously a decoy that you could use all year long. It resembles a doe out in a field just feeding on alfalfa or whatever. The ready doe decoy, on the other hand, is something that you want to use during the rut. It looks like a doe in heat, and bucks are going to see that, and they're going to be attracted to it during that crucial rut period. The Commando, the two-dimensional decoy, is a light, portable decoy that if you hunt way off the beaten path, that's the decoy for you. It's lightweight, easy to carry, quick to set up, and if you like to move from spot to spot and cover a lot of ground, the two-dimensional Commando is really your best pick. On the decoys, something that we really like to do is doctor them, and it's really simple to do. We just use some plastic, white plastic, like off of a garbage bag, and you cut it in the shape of a tail. Put one on the tail and one on each of the ears as well. And the reason for that is even in a very light wind like we have today, you can see that plastic is moving just a little bit, and that little bit of movement adds realism. If a buck's coming down this ridge and he sees that little wiggle of a tail or on the ears, he's going to really believe that that's a doe out in the field feeding. Anytime you use a decoy, you want to position it out in an open area like this field so a deer can see it easily. If you're using a doe decoy, you probably want to position it about 15 or 20 yards from your stand or ground blind, facing away from you and upwind. And the reason for that is that a buck is always going to approach a doe from the rear. On the other hand, if you get an antler kit and put it on this decoy to make it look like a buck, you're going to want to turn that decoy around because a buck is going to approach a buck head to head. If the deer trails in your area are in really heavy cover, you can use a technique called cribbing to bring the deer out into a position for a shot. To do that, all you need to do is take the decoy and place it right against the edge of that heavy cover so the deer can see it. When they walk by, they'll notice that decoy and come on out into the open and present a shot. Decoys can also do a great job of taking the deer's eyes off of the hunter when it comes time to draw. But remember, there's a safety issue that you have to think about. Decoys are intended for bow hunters. Don't try and use one during a firearms season. It's just not safe. So if you're looking for something to add to your bag of tricks next whitetail season, give decoying a try.
Now let's join NAHC member David Hale for a late season bow hunt. It's December, and the deer are bunching up into small herds as they search for food sources. A light morning snow has also helped to push the deer in this area into groups. The timing is perfect for an organized drive. David sets up his stand in a strategic position. Just on the edge of a clearing, he hopes the deer will funnel through as the drivers approach. The tactic pays off. Within 1/2 hour of the start of the drive, the deer start pouring through. David spots a nice buck in this group, but they're just out of range and are hesitant to leave the thick cover. The buck passes by at 50 yards and on the run. Definitely not a high percentage shot. Minutes later, another group appears with a real good buck. The does follow the same path as the first group, but the buck tries to sneak out the other side, coming close to David's stand. One series of grunts stops the buck, offering a 25-yard shot.
Man, that deer didn't go far. About 60 yards, 70 yards out there, and he fell over. And it's a dadgone good deer. You know what? It just goes to show you, when you got a good snow on the ground, cold weather like it is, this time of year in the late season, deer yard up a whole lot. This is about the 10th deer we've seen come through here today. When you got people that's driving deer, you got deer coming through all the time, man can stay in a tree stand a whole lot longer. It makes a guy like me that's really impatient stand here.
There aren't many bow hunters that wouldn't be happy with an opportunity like that so late in the season. You can bet David's blood was really pumping as all those deer came running past. But for many members of the North American Hunting Club, nothing compares to the excitement of an upland game bird exploding from heavy cover. And whether it's quail in Georgia or sharpies in the Badlands of North Dakota, having a reliable dog at your side will make all the difference in the world. Retrievers and bird dogs are without a doubt one of the best upland game hunting resources around. They're dedicated, hard workers. They are perhaps even more enthusiastic about a day in the field than any human hunter will ever be. As much as breed and bloodlines plays a part in a dog's passion for the hunt, no single factor will contribute more to your dog's success than the dedication you bring to it. Let him up. Just as your father, mother, brother, uncle, or grandfather helped to instill your desire to hunt, it's up to you to instill that same desire in your dog. This means working with your dog from a very early age. The sooner he or she is exposed to hunting, the better. The more success your dog experiences early, the more success you can expect from your dog in the future. One of the best ways to ensure a dog's success at an early age, or at any stage in their training, is by working them at a game preserve. Game preserves provide a controlled environment for you and your dog to get to know each other. For beginners, live birds can be purchased as training aids, but where game preserves really pay off is when your dog is ready to take to the field. A few birds are placed at various locations in a field. Locations are either marked or made familiar to the hunter before the dog is taken out. When the hunt begins, the hunter knows when to expect a point or a flush, and can watch his dog for the telltale signs of excitement that will become all too important down the road.
Watch him. Fetch him up! Fetch him up! Come on, Trevor! Up, bring him here. Good. Hold. 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 Sit. Sit. Hold. 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 Drop. Drop. Hunt him up.
An inexperienced dog is almost as likely to walk right by a bird sitting tight as a human is.
Hunt him up.
Watch how many times Greg's 9-month-old lab Trapper works by this bush before he realizes the bird is
Hunt him
there.
up. In here, hunt him up. In here, in here. Hunt him up. Hunt him up. Hunt him up. Where's the bird?
Preserve hunting gives the hunter
Hunt him
the
up.
advantage and allows him to teach the dog what to look
Hunt
for.
him up.
Hunting preserves
Hunt him up.
offer
Watch
other
him up.
advantages as well.
Go get him.
In
Hunt him
most
up.
states, you can hunt from late summer to early the following spring. This gives you a
Nice
chance to
shot.
warm up even an experienced
up.
dog before the opening of the regular season,
Back him up.
and lets you continue your training and fun
Oh.
long after the
Come.
season is done.
Come.
Consistency in
Hold.
training is also very
Hold.
important to a dog's
Come on.
career as a hunter.
Come on.
Decide on a list of
Heel.
commands you will expect your dog to obey and
Heel.
stick with them.
Come on.
But
Heel.
don't overuse them.
Come.
Let your
Sit.
dog work
Sit.
and learn on his own, and
Hold.
correct only
Hold.
when necessary.
Drop. Drop. Good.
No bird. Here.
In my mind, the costs involved with hunting and training dogs that are preserved are negligible. The money invested in your dog's training will be returned several fold in the pride you find in your dog's
Nice
success
shot,
over
Bill.
the years to come.
Heel. Heel.
Now it's time for my favorite part of every North American Hunting Odyssey videotape, member shots. We feature great hunting adventures captured on tape by NAHC members just like you. First off this time, it's North American Hunting Club Senior Vice President Mark LaBarbera and his family on a deer hunt in Wisconsin. Like any family hunting trip, there were plenty of stories to tell and plenty of advice to give.
I mean, that scope you got on that gun, I don't know how you can shoot anything with that thing. What is that, a piece of pipe?
What's his success? Could he do any better with a Weatherby 7mm Magnum than what he's done?
I don't know. How about
think
that
so.
big buck that you didn't get?
The only thing that's crossed him up was when he
that
didn't
was-
close the, and that was human error, not the gun's fault.
This was about 13, 14 pointer that come into that tree stand, and he was right below the stand, and the way the tree stand is made with the crossbar, I had to take the gun and get it down in like that. When I did that, I opened up this lock here, which is a safety mechanism for firing the gun, and I had it open so that I couldn't, I thought I had it closed, and I was trying to squeeze down on that big buck, and I couldn't. I know what was wrong with the gun. So when I ejected the shell, he took off, and I never did get a shot.
But how about that scope? I mean,
Now
you
the
can hardly
scope is something that after the war,
The big
in
one,
1945,
World War II.
we bought these lenses from the government for 25 cents a set.
They're just
and-
zero power, aren't they?
And they're about a half a power. And one of the problems we had was with the crosshairs. We experimented with different things. This particular one that I put in here was number 80 wire, and I crosshair and I soldered them on the adjustment screw. It's set in at about
50?
it shoots at anything up to 150 yards right on.
Can't.
This one does.
How
can
can it
prove
be?
it.
It's on the side.
That doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It'll be right on it.
It can't be.
It is.
If it's got to go down the middle of the barrel.
It's right on
If it's
the...
on the side of the barrel and the barrel's here and the bullet's going this way and you're sighting this way, you got an angle.
Right on.
When was the last time you shot that at a target?
You don't
About,
waste bullets on target.
5 years ago. I never have to. This is made so strong that I've dropped this thing and everything. It's never been off.
How
When I went to sight this in 5 years ago, they all were laughing at the range. They all had to come over and see it. But I put everything right in the center of the bow. And what did they shoot at? 100 yards? I had everyone inside the bullseye.
It's amazing.
It is.
But when it came time to put firearm and hunter to the test, Mark would be the one with sole possession of the bragging rights, bagging a big 10-pointer, maybe the biggest of his hunting career.
turn the head a little. Let's see how big those horns are. Is this the biggest buck you ever killed?
Biggest whitetail I've ever shot.
How many shots?
How many shots? How many did you hear? One shot.
One shot. Get in there now. Here's the dad.
This is what you taught your son to do, right?
Yes.
You like that? I don't see that face. Are you smiling?
That's a dandy.
It's a long hike in the swamp, huh?
10-pointer, isn't he?
Yep.
Even the local media found Mark's trophy impressive. Thanks for the tape, Mark. Hunting in the Alaska wilderness is a dream for a lot of hunters. The beautiful scenery, the clean, crisp air, and the abundance of big game is what attracts most. But getting into and out of prime hunting locations in Alaska can be tough. For North American Hunting Club life member Shep Brown and his party, getting in was easy, and the caribou hunting was great. It was the trip back out again that nearly turned Shep's Alaska hunting dream into a nightmare.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Amazingly, no one was hurt in the crash. A sudden change in the wind was blamed for the airplane's loss of lift in takeoff. About 45 minutes later, a game warden in an airplane spotted the crash site. And about 2 hours after cartwheeling through the pine trees in a mass of tangled aluminum, Shep and his friends were greeted by the Alaska Air National Guard, who made their appearance in grand style.
Man, oh man, when they send help, they send help.
My God.
One down, two down.
Well, there's somebody right on the money.
As you can see, the Air Guard wasn't taking any chances with the well-being of Shep's group. Don't let this video scare you away from a trip to Alaska's wilderness. I've flown into the bush a number of times, and generally bush pilots and their aircraft are more than capable of delivering safe, reliable transportation. Finally, North American Hunting Club member Matt Whalo follows his friend Mike Cox into the Nevada wilderness for a once-in-a-lifetime elk hunt. Matt and Mike spent several days scouting their hunting area. When they finally came across a big herd of elk moving through the woods, they didn't waste any time getting into a good calling position.
We're finally at the bottom of the ravine, just before the big elk herd. How do you feel?
Sweaty.
Awful pretty country. Pretty steep, too. Let's see. That's our basin. That's where we started. Oh, I guess what is it now? 40 minutes ago. Gone a little over a mile and a half. A lot of benches and parks and stuff. Mike's getting ready. We're taking it slow, so if we pop over, there's a herd right on the edge that they're not gonna... It's a good bull. Mike will be calm and won't be breathing too hard, we hope. Except for that elk fever. We're in St. Mary's.
Mary's River.
Mary's River Basin in the Jarbidge Wilderness area.
Totally wilderness.
Total wilderness. There was probably 50 elk in here, and we called this guy in, and Mike just went to town and did his business. It was 30 yards. Beautiful animal, just absolutely gorgeous.
5 on a side is pretty good for your first time out for elk. And what hunter do you know that could have passed up that shot? Thanks for the tape, Matt. And once again, if you've got a first-time hunt or any great hunting adventure captured on videotape, send it on in. We want to take a look at it. Watch for the address to mail it to right after the credits. Well, that about does it for this edition of the North American Hunting Odyssey. For the North American Hunting Club, I'm Bill Miller, and until next time, take care and good hunting.